Okay, thank you so much. So Mr. Kurosaka will be providing the speech. The title is Building a Trusted Society, Emerging Technologies and Trust. So thank you. So please welcome him with a big applause.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Tatsuya Kurosaka. I have many works there, and then let me introduce myself. You can see the 4 logos. The one is the Keio Universities, and the one is Kuwadate, and another one is the Georgetown Universities and the JPNIC as well. So I have many jobs. One is president and CEO of Kuwadate. Kuwadate is my own company. It's just a consulting firm working for the TMT, telecom, media, technology sectors in Japan. And also, I am a part-time associate professor at Graduate School of Media and Governance, Keio University. And also, I would like to stress, I just started as a deputy director at Cross Dignity Centers, the same university, Keio Universities. You know, what is the dignity? Do you understand? The dignity is a very important word, which is coming from the philosophy and also the humanities as well. And I think it's so far from the tech side and tech communications, but I think it's very important context for not only for the society but also the technologies these times. Because we are facing on the severe problems about the dignities and humanities as well in the era of the Gen AI and something like that. And also the internet technology is very important, but it's becoming the fear of our humanity as well. So that's why now this cross dignity is not X. You're using this, but it's a cross cultures X. The cross dignity center is focusing on this kind of problems to solve the human problems based on the technologies, the latest technologies like Gen AI or something like that. And also, I am Director General at the Originator Profile Collaborative Innovation Partnerships as a community, so the Originator Profiles. I have more information later. And the member of the board of the JPNIC and also the visiting scholar at Georgetown University in the United States. So I'm living in the United States, close to the Washington, D.C., and I'm coming from the D.C., and I can, this is very important. And I feel today is very, very happy because I can see the many numbers of faces that's coming from the many young generations there. So not only the young generations, but old-timer there, and also like me. And also the many cultures background there. I think it's very important because you are describing the diversity, I think. I'm living in the United States this time, so diversity is very, very difficult. But I think it's very important to build the trust in our ordinary life. So that's why this community, please keep in touch each other to make the diversity for the trustworthiness. Anyway, first of all, let me introduce the penetrations of the internet. I think today you are the professionals and the experts of the internet technologies and the internet operation as well. So you can see the figures probably 25 years ago, the penetrations, the populations of the internet was That's number 361 millions in the world. But I hope you were born in 2000. Yes, I born in 1975, and that time was I didn't have any internet environment. But this time, over the 20 years, now the population has increased almost 5.4 billions. This is a very important point. I have a couple of points there. One is the internet is so becoming large and then covering the earth, our natures these times. And also, you can see the center is Asia. Asia is the heart of the internet this time. So that's why you have the responsibility to make resolutions of the problems of internet, right? Right? Do you understand? Do you agree? Right? Thank you. But the problem there, especially for the trust. First of all, on the internet, nobody knows you are duck. It's funny cartoons. Probably it's issued in 1993. Since the New Yorker, the famous magazine in the United States, about today, this problem is still over there. It's a very important problem that you don't know who is on the other end of the device. Do you understand this? Yes. Because nobody doubt the communications on the internet through the applications, the smartphone applications, web applications as well. But every day, I making a phone call to my mother. But my mother asked me, "Hey, are you Tatsuya? That's my son." Yes, I'm a Tatsuya. How can I verify? I'm born in 1975, the February 23rd, and then I have two daughters, and I'm living in the United States, and something, blah, 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 blah. So I understand. So what? So it's very, very tough situation this time. And also, that's why you can ask that much. So you just believe in the promise. In other words, oyakusoku in Japan. Oyakusoku is this kind of the promise, that the common promises that the person in questions must be there on the other end of the device. Upon that problems, urgent issue in the internet space there. This information is very severe problems these times. And also the phishing, spoofing, something like that is also the many incidents there. And also, the deep fake coming from the Gen AI. And also the downside, you can see that brand damages, the ad fraud, the lack of the transparency, everything's problems is coming from the digital ad. Yes, you are, and you and I are depending on the kind of the ecosystems of the digital ads, because we can see the many articles by free for the benefits coming from the digital ad, but it's caused problems. The digital ads can be trust, and also severe problems of the ad fraud. So that's why I would like to rebuild that kind of the solutions by using the technology of the internet. But I have questions. Is the internet able to be trusted? So you can see this chart. I think you don't need any specific introductions about layer structures. So everybody knows about layer 1, the physical layers, and the layer 7, the application layers, and also the IP set model as well. But we can't find the practical protocols which provide the trust over the internet. For example, the TCP/IP is about to make connections, the fundamental connections between the device and the device and the device and the servers as well through the internet. That's it. That's it. How about using the World Wide Web? You can use HTTP or HTTPS or something like that. But the HTTP is only the protocol to make a resolution to send the web technologies each other, kind of from servers to browsers and browsing and communication as well. How about HTTPS? You can see the mark of the key at the web browsers when you're using the HTTPS. It's very, very seems to be secured, but it's not. It's only a verification which the web server is existed. That's it. That's all. So that's why many of the phishing sites and spoofing sites already use HTTPS this time. So any end users, consumers, can't find the problems by using the kind of the solution technologies, protocols. So I mean, we don't have any resolution today over the internet. That's why many enterprise people already started to provide their own services, like financial services and the insurance services or something like that over the internet. But they already don't trust the internet. They trust the devices like smartphones, so something like that. This is a busy chart, and I'm sorry, this is a Japanese chart, but this is coming from the life insurance company. So it's so hard. But this chart mentions about the contents of menu of the services, which is providing at the smartphone apps by life insurance companies. And this is a point 10, covers this kind of the services, menus. And it mentions this service is not available on PC. Use smartphone, like change of beneficiary of the death insurance, the change of the authorized agent, the claim for insurance money, so something like that. That function can be provided on the PC internet, but smartphone provided, because you have a smartphone, you have a smartphone, I have a smartphone. The smartphone is not only the communicator, but also the authenticators. Especially this time, instead of we are now using the biometrics information authentications. So you can see the kind of the camera to sensing your face or something like that. And smartphone is the terminals, which is terminations for the authentications. It's rational and reasonable solutions. I think it's a yes and no, because biometrics and also the kind of the authentications has the possible problems about privacy. I think the life insurance companies needs the kind of the credentials, information, because very, very important, it's very tough transaction between the customers and their companies. I understand it's very important to authentications. But in the case of ordinary communications, like talk with my mother, I don't need this kind of the authentications. Because my mother asking me who you are, then I am born in 1975, in February, and 77, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's it. So the problem is lack of trust. But trust services are already provided, like smartphone. I think their specifications don't fit. Sometimes authentication, sometimes trust services just kind of the overspec. But we have to use the kind of the overspec services. It's not reasonable. It's not rational. So we should change our mind for the trust. Like that. I love this word, trust but verify. In the case of use the blockchain, they are asking us that don't trust, verify. That's why that's kind of the architectures needs to make the verifications every transaction, in every transactions. It's not reasonable. But we can control the level of the trust depending on each applications, each services, each demand coming from ourselves. In fact, our ordinary life, especially physical life, can provide a kind of the reasonable trust. You imagine, you met some people the first time, hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. And also we can try to shake hands. Nice to meet you, nice to meet you. So that times, we don't doubt each other. If you're worried about shake hand, razor, knives between the fingers, let me verify your hands. Open your hands. No, I don't need it. Because I trust some people which can make the shake hand because they would be opening their own mind and also like me. So that's why this is trusting each other is very important. So that's why I think that trust is that the degrees to which one believes that the other party behaves and expected without checking supporting facts to confirm the expectations. That's a key point and the key concept to build the trust over the internet today. Over there. This is a figure of the current internet. This blue zone is trust without checking facts. And this is the verifiable zone. It means the transactions and data, when they use in the current internet, we can't verify the data and transactions, as I mentioned before. So that's why the trust service over there, and also the kind of the signing technologies and the crypto technologies or something like that. But it must be over spec. How about blockchain? I mentioned blockchain is don't trust, verify, verify, verify. So you can see the yellow side, the zone, the areas of the verifiable zones, verifiable transactions, communications are spreading, but it's not reasonable. So we would like to have resolutions to control the trust depending on our demand by using not only technologies, but of our customs. This is a concept of the trusted web. This is a concept of the trusted web. The trusted web is a concept and activities which is coming from the private sectors of Japan, and also the Japanese government now together focusing on the kind of making the resolutions of the trust, because the government, it's not only a federal government but also local government as well, needs to trust as well, especially a reasonable trust. Now we have a my number systems. It's kind of the a social security number, which is identify Japanese peoples and each others, provided by Japanese government. It's very interesting. It's a very useful technology and the infrastructures, but I think that my numbers would be over spec for the kind of the ordinary application, the ordinary life. So that's why we have possible alternatives like trusted web. And this is a use case of the trusted web. So originator profiles, which I mentioned before in the introductions by myself. The originator profiles is hard. It's an OP, so-called OP. It discloses information on contents creators using digitalized codes and digital signing technology to verify the authenticity of the information by end users. It's very unique because many technologies like provenance technologies and content management technologies, rights management technologies over there, but our technologies, OP, they're focusing on the verification by end users itself. End users mean you and me, because we are audience of the internet content, but we would like to verify any contents and informations. I mean, for examples, New York Times is one of the famous newspaper in the United States and also the world. We can see the New York Times, the articles coming from the web technologies, but I have questions. I see the articles of the New York Times, but is this real? Is this truth? I can't have any method of verification this time. No, you can see the URLs, the New York Times, the nytimes.com, or something like that. Yes, I can check it. But if the case, the URLs is too long to explain the windows of the web browsers, it would be spoofing. Yeah. And every content distribution is depending on the complicated database system, and today the URL is so long, but it caused the spoofing as well. That's why we need to verify the content, the communication, the transactions. So I have more time, so let me introduce OP.
In the online world, where the source of information often remains obscure, we face a global challenge. The spread of false data and misinformation, and fraudulent websites mimicking legitimate organizations and real individuals. Recently, with the rise of generative AI, creating convincing fraudulent websites has become easier than ever, making it increasingly difficult to distinguish legitimate sites from fraudulent ones. Additionally, information that you share online, believing it to be true, may actually be false or disinformation created by malicious third parties. Such fraudulent sites may mimic reputable media outlets, propagate false news to influence public opinion during elections, spread hoaxes during disasters that create confusion for victims and healthcare professionals, or circulate deceptive investment information to manipulate markets. Fraudulent sites appear to be carrying out numerous incidents of such malicious activities. The damage caused by fraudulent websites also extends to the advertising world. While these sites often feature numerous ads, in most cases the advertisers are unaware that their brands are being displayed on fraudulent platforms. This can lead to brand damage, where advertisers' reputations are tarnished by being associated with such websites. Moreover, these fraudulent sites often engage in ad fraud, charging advertisers for ads that were never actually displayed. Corporate advertising budgets are unknowingly becoming a source of funding for scammers. In Japan alone, the damage from this practice is estimated at approximately $867 million per year. Globally, the estimated damage caused by ad fraud is thought to exceed $2 trillion. So why do brand damage and ad fraud occur in the first place? Because the information source can't always be verified, and advertising transactions often take place without proper identity confirmation. To combat the spread of false information and mitigate ad fraud damages, OP is being developed as a way to identify exactly who and what type of entity is behind the information. Let's start by clarifying something that might be misunderstood by many. The OP is not a system for determining whether information is true or false. Rather, it's like a label for identifying the source of information and verifying that information hasn't been altered from its original form. In today's online world, it's challenging to verify both the authenticity of information and its source. OP technology tackles this problem, enabling end users to identify the information source and verify whether the information is being transmitted as intended. Organizations committed to sharing accurate information invariably have established information dissemination policies and governance structures in place to enforce them. Organizations with well-established and properly enforced dissemination policies and governance structures are more likely to provide accurate and consistent information compared to those without such systems. OPs will be issued to organizations that have these policies and governance frameworks in place. In essence, OPs serve as a fundamental tool for verifying the basic information we need to establish trust in our daily interactions. Next, we'll look at the technical features of the OP. An OP can verify information from various sources through two key components: a core profile and a profile annotation. The core profile, or CP, contains the essential, basic information about the source. The profile annotation, or PA, is a verifiable certificate containing various details about the information source. Since corporate activities are a part of broader social activities, many companies belong to industry associations or receive certifications from external organizations. When issuing a PA, it must first be confirmed that the company using the OP is credible. For example, to prevent ad fraud, a third party verifies that media outlets and advertisers are legitimate before a PA is issued. In addition, depending on the objective, companies can also self-declare their legitimacy to establish credibility. Companies typically belong to multiple communities. When a third party verifies a company's membership in those communities, multiple PAs may be issued for a single CP. Together, the CP and multiple PA form the complete OP. An OP which combines a CP and PA can provide information about the source in a verifiable, tamper-proof format, enabling the end user to check the verification results provided by the OP. An OP can also display verifiable information about websites. For instance, it can confirm that a particular site belongs to Japanese newspaper company A and that this has been certified by the Japan Newspaper Publishers and Editors Association, of which company A is a member. OP technology can also confirm that web content has remained unchanged since it was originally published. This helps prevent malicious alterations by third parties. Our goal is to enable users to directly see from their browsers who owns a website, whether the web content is published exactly as the site owner intended, and whether the content has not been altered by a third party. Through the combination of CP and PA as mentioned, by implementing OP, we create a system that prevents malicious third parties from posing as legitimate organizations. OPs are only issued to organizations with established information dissemination policies and governance structures that are properly enforced. And the fact that OPs are used by companies and institutions that have undergone third-party verification by reputable industry associations and certification bodies gives them inherent trustability. Using digital signature technology, the OP applies digital signatures to the CP, PA, and other components, and then combines the signed certificates to create a unique framework that makes it impossible to spoof the identity of the OP. OP technology can be applied in the fields of content dissemination, such as news and corporate communications, as well as the advertising industry. Even when news from one media outlet is featured on a portal site alongside news from other sources, it will be possible to identify the original source of information and determine whether that source is an organization with an established information dissemination policy and governance structures in place that are properly enforced. In the field,
Right, it's so long. So let me conclude. The original profile is kind of the technologies like overlay technologies at the internet. So I mean the protocols, especially under lower layers protocols, is very important, but it's very difficult to standardize. So we are now providing this kind of the overlay technologies which enables to provide reasonable trust communication, trustable environment through the internet. Naturally, we are not trying to standardize as well. OP is now introducing the kind of standardization like World Wide Web Consortium and also IETF as well. But it's yeah, we aims to standardizations, but we more desire to have a friendship of the trust, to share the same concept, same values, like-minded concept of the trust. So that's why now we are looking forward the other communities to collaborate this kind of that. As I think that this is a pillar of the trust publishers of the informations. Now we are now facing the fake news, misinformation, disinformation problems that is very difficult to make resolutions. However, we can take the actions to verify the kind of information distributions. For example, who distributes information? Is that incentive appropriate? And also, does publishers' work accuracy? This is a good question to verify the publishers at the first step. So we are now providing this kind of the technology to end users, which needs to verify the informations. And this is our members. Okay, this is my presentations, but I don't have any conclusions because we are working on it this time. So as the alternative conclusions, let me mention the possible agendas, the next agendas, which is make a resolution coming from you. One is the limitations of the legal response. Everybody talks in the registrations, also the regulations. It's very important this time, but the law always follow the technologies. Everybody knows. While individual rights and interests are easy to protect, especially in Japan, the structures of law, the constitutions can provide protections for the each individuals, the human beings. So that's why that we have basic rights, fundamental rights protected by the Constitution of Japan. But social ambiguity would not be suppressed by the law because the social affairs are very complicated. And the social affairs is the cause of this kind of the problems like the trust. So we now expecting the technological resolutions, but as I mentioned, we need the reasonable technologies, not the overspec technologies. So that's why the harmonizations between the technologies and the individual customs, like laws, the business processes, something like that, that's very, very important. The technology makes it possible to flexibility design trust. Yes, I believe it. And use different technologies depending on the purpose. Not only the single technologies like AI, the Web3, the something like that, blockchain, or something like that. We need to combine the technology and the element of the technology as well. The combined technologies and non-technology to solve the problems, I think is very important approach. We are believing the technology, so we should rely on the technology as well. But we also respect to the customs of our own customs, like human touch, the conversations, the physical conversations, like my mom said. So everything is elements, everything would be a component to make the trust. So we can combine this kind of the technologies and non-technological elements to build the trust in the internet space. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing your insight and possible future implication. We have a lot of questions, I guess. So it's time, but we would like to extend 10 more minutes for Q&A session. Yeah, please.
Hi. 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 Thank you very much for your presentation. Actually, incredible presentation. I have a lot of questions, so I hope I can reach to you later about these questions, but I'm going to stick to one. I've worked with a company using IoTA protocols to develop certification, and I've worked with a bank who uses blockchain to certify some of the larger transactions between their customers. My question is, where do you draw the line between what you can trust and you need to verify for you?
Thank you very much. It's very good questions. I think it depends on the practical case. You mentioned the financial case. It's the financial industry, you know, is depending on the not only private sector's transactions, but also the regulations as well, especially banking systems, not only Japan, but also the any other world, needs to adapt the kind of the regulation as well, and also the international framework as well. So the financial industry needs to harmonize this kind of the complicated situations, and it make the lines between the trustable and the non-trustable. So that's why the blockchain technologies as and alternative technologies that are skipping the international banking and transferring system like SWIFT. So because the legacy system in the traditional systems very, very much hard to use and hard to maintenance this time. So that's why blockchain providing this kind of the solutions. But the blockchain has some problems about verifications and also the standardizations, also the interface of the custody or something like that. And they don't have any regulation this time. So that's why I think this in the case of the financial industries, now every single people, the findings, the lines, kind of. It's my answers. Right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Okay, any other question? Okay.
Hello, mabuhay. I'm Raj from the Philippines. AP? Just kidding. So I think that everyone here is familiar with Facebook. So recently, Mark Zuckerberg implemented major changes to its content moderation policies. So he announced last January of this year through a video titled More Speech and Fewer Mistakes. So that there will be no more fact-checking for Meta. This includes Instagram, WhatsApp, and other social media platforms that are under this company. So this would be a real problem because knowing that in the Asia-Pacific region, Facebook has nearly 1.3 billion monthly active users, making it the most popular social media in the region. So my question would be, how do you think this will change the media landscape, especially those who are really journalists and part of the news outlets, and how this can affect also their pursuit of trust, which they want to build, especially on the public?
All right, thank you very much. This is good and very difficult questions. First of all, I think the determinations of the Facebook seems to be not too bad because they determines the end of the third-party verifications, and not the verification, third-party fact-check, I think. The fact-check is a very difficult way to clarify the information verifications because the information is depending on each context, especially communications as well. So I mean, I mentioned the talk with my moms. It's very casual communications, as I think it doesn't need any fact check this time. It's about media communications, which is coming from the publishers and the newspapers companies as well. And the information like the publishers coming from I mean, it's very difficult because we also face against the problems of the spoofing or something like that. So that's why fact check is one way to verify the communications and informations, but it's not enough, I think. So that's why this time the media companies and the broadcasting company as well and try to verify their own content, their published contents by themselves, like using the provenance management technologies or something like that, like C2PA or something like that. But I think it's not enough as well. So that's why we need to combine the kind of technologies, not only OP, but also the kind of the another resolutions like C2PAs and identity management, and also the fact check as well. So we have to tackle this kind of the problems to gather all technologies and all customs. This is my answer.
Got it. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. So any question? This is the last question. Okay, Kotaro-san, please.
Thank you very much, Kotaro from India. So my question is, normally or in some cases maybe, the source of the information may not be only one. That means there are multiple sources behind the publishers. So in that case, how do you verify the trustworthiness of the entities who is generating the parts or piece of the information that is actually combined and then published by under the name of one representing entity? But what about the entities behind the representers? That's my question.
All right, thank you very much. This question is very important because we need the process to publish the information coming from the media companies and broadcasting companies. You know, in the case of the static article, like newspapers articles, some writers, editors are making this kind of the draft at first, and also the review the content, and also the mixing the kind of the information, not only the text information, but also the pictures and something like that. And also the editorial works there to put the articles for the practical paper face. And also the website as well. This is the process before publishing. But we, audience, we are only reading after publish, because we only read the newspapers, the website, the broadcasted content. So that's why this is the different phases, and also we need the different management systems. So OP itself is focusing on the after publishment. But in the case of the before publish, the newspapers companies, media companies need to build the verification process by their own business processes, by themselves. However, it's very difficult because it's very, very expensive, and then also the very hard to identify the staff and documents, the material, something like that. So now they are now challenging this kind of the resolutions this time. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for your presentation and the Q&A. Thank you. So I would like to let me add some information. So Mr. Kurosaka lives in USA. So thank you for coming here, Kyushu, all the way from the US. Thank you again. So you will be here in the lunchtime. So please continue the discussion to find him. Okay. So thank you so much. So continue the discussion during the lunchtime. Thank you so much.